In the first area of agricultural productivity, the objective is to reverse this trend in the decline of global crop yield growth rates. And some of the areas that we propose to work on is in improving the technology, agriculture technology, water management, and investing in research and development for technology generation. The second area in terms of linking small farmers to markets and strengthening value chains, here is a map of Africa and Latin America on the number of hours for farmers to reach local markets. In this sense, we would like to focus on expanding rural infrastructure, continue to support the Doha trade round, and improving access to financing so that these farmers can reach the market with their products, especially in particular value-added products. The third area of reducing risk and vulnerability, we see that in order to better manage volatility, both for price as well as climate, both at the level of the governments and the micro level of farmers, there is a need for improving social safety nets in rural areas and the fiscal support that goes with it. There's also, for us, an important issue of furthering policy options for addressing price volatility in markets, as last year's food crisis has been forgotten by the financial crisis. And thirdly, to also continue to work on the developing of innovative instruments for catastrophic losses that are presented by opportunities like agriculture insurance and other catastrophic financial risk instruments. In the area of agricultural factor markets and rural non-farm income, we propose to continue working on improving land markets. Land titling and land security is an issue in many of the developing countries still. There is also the need of improving the overall investment climate, and the bank has been doing some studies in the rural investment climate assessment compared to the other more economy-wide business climate studies and analysis, as well as upgrading some of the skills of the population of rural areas in terms of vocational training and linkage to private sector. Finally, the fifth area of improving the sustainability of environmental services, we propose to focus on climate change adaptation. There's many investments that are still missing in key developing countries for drought-tolerant crops and other soil degradation technology, as well as other environmental services for improving livestock systems and fisheries and forest and deforestation. All these are proposals that are being put in a framework, but the situation will depend country by country here. I'm not going to go over this matrix, but it's the idea of depending on where each country stands in the importance and the type of agriculture economy that they have, different approaches will be seek in these 5 areas. Latin America is mostly urbanized, but within Latin America there's a big difference between countries in terms of the situation that each agricultural sector is in. So to summarize, the World Bank projections over the next 2 fiscal years is a significant increase in the lending and overall program for agriculture. This increase will go from 2 to 3 times what was allocated to agriculture in 2000-2002, which is a big shift from the trend that I mentioned before. And this increase will mainly be on the programs regarding agriculture production and market linkage for farmers. The World Bank Group has mainly 4 organizations, institutions that support this strategy. which is the two lending arms of the bank, IDA and the IBRD, as well as the private sector arm, the IFC, and the guarantee organization of the World Bank, MIGA. We observe that the opportunities for the bank to expand lending and the agriculture program is by scaling up successful programs currently in place and maintaining portfolio quality, but also developing new lines of business. We've seen that in the area of environmental services, climate change adaptation mitigation programs targeting agriculture have been quite successful recently, as well as insurance innovations and contingency lines of credit that public sector have adopted to try to mitigate some of these catastrophic losses in the agriculture sector. One thing that I would like to mention is that a recent analysis have shown that it is not enough to provide financial resources to the public sector to support agriculture, but we observe that when the bank and other donors provide the type of knowledge and information systems that is more of the soft aspects of these agriculture projects, the project outcomes improve. And this we've seen over the past few decades, where we see knowledge products and technical assistance being coupled with financial and investment projects in agriculture, outcomes are improved for those projects. So we are also expanding our knowledge-based services and products to our clients. Finally, to conclude, we see this challenge and opportunities being possible only by seeking partnerships at the country level with other donors and non-governmental organizations, as well as in the regional level, partnering with organizations like IICA, and at the global level with some of the other UN partner organizations. Thank you very much, and please, I don't know if we'll have questions afterwards. I'll be glad to answer.
Give him a hand, please. Senor Carballo, I really want to thank you for that. And I'm going to ask you to work on a question which you can give an answer. Of the money, the billions of dollars which are going, what percentage of that will go into the ground to either produce something or to produce a demonstration plot that someone like our politicians here and ambassadors can go and see the difference between producing under the traditional low productivity operation and seeing the modern high productivity, or is the money all going to continue to go into huge buildings, fantastic offices, and writing more and more paper? Because that's the impression we have, that's what's happening now.